Good day, good people. I'm Dr. Johnny Pierce, but you could just call me Johnny, and this is the Actually Well podcast. Today, I'm doing something that you've never seen me do before. I am hosting 3 gentlemen at a time because I'm here in Pennsylvania where I used to work. I've got some great guys here that I have great relationships with. I'm glad to have them all sit with me. We only got Carl for an hour, so we're making the most of it, and this guy was absolutely essential to interview. So I've already introduced him a little bit, but I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Carl Sever. I've been working here at Pennsylvania Counseling Services for about going on 20 years now, and I'm a therapist. I used to do clinical supervision, and I had a lot of work in inpatient treatment programs for drug and alcohol problems, and actually dually diagnosed youth. So that's where all my gray hair comes from. That's why I have a gray beard.
The beard is a new thing, by the way.
Right. But anyway, it's an honor for me to be here and talk with these guys. And I just am so happy that Johnny's doing this and has been doing these podcasts for a while.
So, as you can see, they have the feeling chart, which we're going to get a little closer. Yes, I purposely put it on the feeling chart so that every time somebody goes to talk aside from me, you can think about your own feelings. But go for it. Who are you?
Hi, my name is Corey Burton. I am a licensed clinical therapist in Harrisburg, PA. I have a private practice, Belief in Me Counseling. I've been working in the field, I want to say going on 14 years, and been like a licensed therapist for almost 5 years.
All right. And last but not least, who are you?
Hi, I am Jonathan Reese. I'm a licensed professional counselor here in the state of Pennsylvania. Johnny and Carl especially were around from the beginning of my journey of therapy. Being a therapist, I've been with PCS, Pennsylvania Counseling Services, for about 7.5 years. We worked together for a while. So I worked with drug and alcohol, mental health folks, sex offenders, all sorts of folks. So I started off as unlicensed and got my license, became like the leader of the clinic that we worked at. And then now I am a clinical director with Pennsylvania Counseling Services.
Man, he's come so far. So I got these 3 gentlemen with me today because coming up to Pennsylvania is not as convenient or easy as you might think it is. And coordinating schedules with multiple people is not the easiest thing to do. But we got everybody together all at once. And I was going to do one-on-one interviews with each guy, but we all know each other. We all know each other because we've all worked together at one point in time. There's a lot of different relationships within our group, as a matter of fact. And I would literally line it up like this. Carl, you are my mentor. To this day, you are a guy that I turn to when I'm looking for advice and love and care, and you've given it to me from the start. And this podcast is actually one of the many things we talked about, because once every other Friday or Thursday or Wednesday, whenever we were free, I would call Carl and we just talk about creative ideas. We just talk about what I could be doing outside of the office to help people from a clinical standpoint. And I had to get you on this one. I had to get you on this. It's Men's Mental Health Month, and you have been absolutely essential to my professional and personal mental health since I met you, and I thank you for that. Corey doesn't know this, but I remember when we met, I was in a company-wide meeting, and I heard a voice I hadn't heard before. And I looked over and I saw color where I hadn't seen color before. And I said, wait a minute now, there's another one of us? So as a result of knowing that there was another one of us, I came directly over to you and said, hey man, here's my phone number. I got to talk to you. We got to connect. And I think the first time we got together, we went to, what's the place that's not, it's like the Chipotle, but it's Chipotle. Yeah, the not Chipotle. We ended up meeting up there and having a conversation, and you were just telling me about what you want to do clinically and professionally. And I said to you then, man, whatever I can do to be a help, because in our profession, we don't pay it back. We always pay it forward. So it gave me an opportunity to possibly be a mentor to you, and you received it well. Like, we've been in touch ever since. I've seen you develop both as a man and as a professional. You got your own practice now. It's a beautiful thing. Come so far. This guy right here, though, this guy is one in which Carl and I we tag team to get this man to bring the best version of himself out. Now, the first month that he was around, I didn't talk to him because I had told him, hey, man, you got to be here for at least a month before I even have a conversation with you. Nothing against you, but we had a couple people start at the office I was working in, and then they'd immediately leave. And I was like, I'm not interested in doing that. So once you've been here for a month, we'll go get some food. We'll talk. And we did. We sat down at a diner. I can't even remember the name of the diner anymore because I've been moved away so long. But we sat down. We talked about what you want to do professionally. And within a month, you were already doing half the stuff. And then you and I got to hold the record as the most productive clinic in Pennsylvania Counseling Services, even though we only had 2 clinicians.
Yep.
And we were the only one that was only 2 guys.
Yep.
And yet we provided IOP, weekly, once a week meetings. We had therapy clients. I think both of us had a caseload of at least 25 to 30 clients. We were rocking it.
Yep.
And at the end of each week, we'd walk out to the parking lot, give each other a huge hug, tell each other we loved each other, and go home. And we got our rest and we came back and we did it again. So having the 3 of you here, having all 4 of us together, it only seems right. The question that I want to start off with is I want to ask each of you about your wellness journey. Now, usually I say this as the second question, but since I got all of us together and we already talked about the clinical work, who wants to go first? Pass the wheel. And maybe hold it like right here.
My wellness journey will take about 4 hours to describe, so I'm going to give you the shortened version. As you can see, I came up in the 60s. I graduated from high school in the 70s. And so there was a lot of craziness. There's some parallels between what's going on now and what went on back then. But I was a card-carrying juvenile delinquent. I was a hard-working kid, and I worked real hard at being a juvenile delinquent, but also in school. I wanted to achieve. And my journey was sidetracked a little bit because of that. But, having the spiritual principles that were given to me when I went through high school, it was a Catholic high school with nuns. And nuns will help you see what side of the bread the butter goes on in a very direct way. But
you wouldn't be mentioning the ruler thing that they would do.
Oh, they did the ruler, the pointer, and then it was real serious when they took out that heavy rosary and started going after you. But all kidding aside, they instilled values which went into hibernation for a while, but then came forward later. And so that was the, adoption of values. And then later, and that's part of my wellness journey. And then later, when I realized that the amount of substances I was using, mainly alcohol, was problematic, I went into 12-step groups, which furthered my wellness, but in terms of, sobriety and abstinence. But where I didn't struggle, where I did struggle, and I think a lot of men struggle with, is self-care. And while I was able to stop using chemicals, I didn't know how to take care of myself. I didn't know how to take care of myself medically, emotionally, physically or spiritually. I was getting there. So that was a lifelong journey. And I think being a therapist also was, we're helping other people do what we should be doing, sometimes. So I think putting those things together, and then for the past 20 years, working at a place where they really encourage self-development was really helpful. And so that's just some highlights. And, last thing, being a father and being a partner now of a very good woman, I had to get my game together early on. My kids are in their 40s now. So I think that sort of describes my wellness journey. Where am I at now? About 6 months ago, the Grim Reaper was chasing me around, and I got real close to getting caught.
Of course, I didn't find out about this until after the fact, and I was pretty upset with Carl when he said this. Another reason why I needed to get up here and record this, man, because
yeah,
you know,
he may catch me.
well,
again.
no. It's like every few times I talk to you, there was a time when you hit the deer. That happened,
Right.
and then we almost left here prematurely. And I'm
Right.
like, okay, Carl, are you trying to send me a message? Or do you miss me that bad that you got to like have this happen so you can get me to come back up there? I'm gonna visit you. I promise. You don't got to do all this. See, I'm here.
Right. So yeah, so that gave me a whole new reframe on life, and I realized that now this time is precious, and when you get that close, emergency aortic dissection surgeries, like I tried to walk that off, by the way.
You did.
But couldn't do it. But bottom line is, life is precious, and people are precious, and I want to take care of me, and I want to take care of the people I love. So that's where I'm at, brother.
Thank you, Carl, for sharing that with us. Now, gentlemen, Carl's touched you guys too. So it's not like I'm just the only one that's had this man as a mentor and kind of very quickly picked up on something. I feel like Carl stood out for me in particular because Carl is kind. Mm-hmm. And to this day, when I'm talking to my clients, when I talk to my children, when I talk to people on the podcast, I've dropped your name quite a few times. Your kindness is one of the most distinguishing characteristics I've ever seen in another person. And is the first clear just characteristic that I said, I want to be that like that person. So I've studied you in the time that I've known you. I've known you for 13 years now. And over the 13 years, I have learned how to be a kind person directly from you. I didn't learn that from my family. I didn't learn that from my faith. I learned that from you. And I thank you for that. But gentlemen, was there anything in particular that you picked up on about Carl, or you find yourself, this guy's a little different, but he also very familiar, like family. Mm-hmm. Did you have that experience with him?
Excuse me. I have a very specific story about Carl. I had a problematic client, I guess is the best way to describe it. Of course, this is the end of the workday. The sun is down and everything, and I'm in the office by myself. And I had this thought where I was like, all right, like I think everything's okay, but I don't feel good. Like I don't feel good about the resolution of this client. And I didn't want to like bother the people, but I knew everyone was home, and it was either Crystal or Carl. And I think Crystal might have been on vacation because Crystal was very great. She was always there when we needed her. And I remember a conversation where she said, if anything comes up, call Carl. And I didn't know Carl at the time. So I'm like, I call this person I don't know. I'm in a very vulnerable moment because I'm feeling like I don't know what to do with this client. Excuse me. The confidence is what stood out for me. Being able to instill confidence in me, because the kindness is what gets you to the call. You calling somebody 8:00 at night.
Right.
Nobody wants to put their clinical hat on that late at night, let alone bring someone else in. And it was the kindness, but it was more of the reassurance. And honestly, something that you said to me then is something I use now in my clinical judgment, where you said, when you make your decision, will you be good with the decision that you made? And I was at this kind of in-between place, and there was like a process I had to go through with this client. And I remember in that moment was where I felt that confidence. And I'm like, all right, I know what I need to do here. And most people, you'll call and they'll say, you know what you're supposed to do here. But it was more of like a moral compass response that wasn't you telling me what to do, but it was like, you know what to do, but also do the right thing. And I appreciate the balance of kindness, but also speaking that life into other people. And through this journey, we probably all know in this field, there's not a lot of men in this field. So typically if it's a problematic client, that first feeling is like, I want to be able to take care of this. I want to be able to handle this. I don't want to have to pass this off to someone else. And that was something that I really had that moment where I'm like, okay, this is actually somebody I can call, let alone somebody I can call at 8 o'clock at night. That's a huge one. So I do appreciate that, and I do carry that on my journey. If we go through this, I'll talk a little bit about what my journey into PA counseling was, but it was very much get in and get out, and I don't need to make relationships. So the connections that I made has meant a lot to me.
Thank you for sharing that, Corey.
Yeah, there's two things for sure with Carl. Two things. One is like this calmness sort of piece, this calm kindness sort of thing. So I remember the very first two mental health, drug and alcohol evaluations I did here. I was like shaken out of my shoes, right? Like I literally had a guy holding a urine cup, like shaking it. It was like, yeah, I think this is how you get it tested. Yeah, I think this is right. Like, holy smokes, Jonathan. But just like having Carl like sit there in the moment and just like being really encouraging, like, this is a really great relationship. You guys are going to do great work together. I can already tell that. And even so, like you're saying, like those 8 o'clock phone calls and stuff like that, just like that calmness and, yeah, just like professionally, but then on the personal side, like, which also feeds into the connection and just like showing up for people. I remember whenever I lost a family member to suicide, and you showed up to the clinic to meet with me before my day even started, just to connect with me about that, helped me get on track to be able to go through a whole day of meeting with folks. And it's like, answering those phone calls, showing up like that, doing that sort of thing. It's like, yeah, encourage me, challenge me of like, how do I show up for people in an authentic, like calm, real way?
Thanks, brother. Appreciate that.
We love you, man. We love
Yep.
you. You've touched us all. You've encouraged us all. And I mean, there's countless people here at PA Counseling, countless people in rooms for 12-step programs. The mark you leave on us isn't one that's just like, oh, that was nice. I think it encourages the person to go and give it out too. It's not just the deed of being present, not just the deed of caring. It's the also, you can do this too. Go do this too. I think that's the part that stands out the most. And I can't think of anybody that I ever talked to and your name comes up and they don't burst into a smile and have a story of how you showed up and showed them how to show up.
Yeah, kindness is powerful. Can I tell a really quick story?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Well played, Corey.
I might know one can hear my story.
Yeah, this is what happens when you only got 2 mics. You just got to like improv. Like, all right, we got 4 people, 2 mics. We're going to make it work.
I'd say about 10 years ago, I went to a meeting in York. It was, I think it was a Thursday night meeting off of George Street. It was really packed. And I went in, and when I went in the room, there was about 40 or 50 people in there. Maybe, no, I'm exaggerating. I'd say 30.
That's a good story, though. That's the best story. It has to have the extra people.
Right. And as I walked in, I realized I was the only non-person of color in the room, right? So I'm sitting there, and now I'm thinking shit. I'm thinking, this is how a person of color must feel when they're the only one. Like you made a reference to it earlier, that sensitivity. So I'm sitting there sort of pondering this, and I must admit I'm a little nervous. I'm wondering, how's my butt going to be received in this meeting? It was an NA meeting. And so as I'm sitting there by myself, this big guy walks up to me, and I'm thinking, what the hell? I had this thought, am I going to get thrown out of the meeting, right? And he sits down next to me, and he gives me this big hug. And he goes, welcome to the meeting. And the impact of that act of kindness in that moment of vulnerability was amazing. And it was like dopamine city. I immediately relaxed and I said, thank you. So I wanted to tell that story to highlight that stuff about kindness because, man, vulnerability, I know what that feels like. And what am I going to do?
Well, yes, and I'm realizing that this probably was a smarter option from the beginning anyway. So, Corey, if you don't mind sharing a bit about your own journey when it comes to wellness, would you mind sharing?
Wellness for me comes in phases. I think the thing that I learned was it always starts with work for me, and then I can apply it to the rest of my life. Work it's a definitive place. So like I come to work, I know relatively what I'm supposed to do. So it's easier to see when I'm not healthy, not sleeping enough, not eating enough, when I'm having too many sessions back to back, like you can feel it. When I'm more engaged, when I'm fighting to stay engaged, like there's all these things that come. But personally, I have taken a lot of waves in wellness. I think what I have learned in my 30s is that there has been so much more unhealthy wellness that I pictured was good. Um, Physical health is the biggest one. I went to the doctor maybe 2 3 years ago for the first time in a while to get a checkup. Um, and it was the first time I had to. Well, I talked to the doctor about being in counseling. It's the first time I had to like list out, the things that were going on. It's the first time that I ever had to have a chart that identified a eating disorder.
Mm.
And it was never anything I talked about out loud or anything that I registered. So having to share that, because I went in with the intention of being honest, and that takes me down the thoughts like body dysmorphia, unhealthy exercise patterns, all kinds of things like that. And then through that to find out like I wasn't pre-diabetic. That's what I was happy about. Like through all the unhealthiness, I wasn't, but I was close. Gained a lot of weight. I just got a lot of information at once. And at the moment I was like, well, what I was doing didn't work. So I didn't know what to do.
Right.
And I don't believe that my vulnerability at the moment allowed me to like ask for help explicitly. So like anybody else would do, I joined a race.
He said, like anybody else, I got in the race. Why not?
To shock my system into setting a goal. And the thing I learned about myself at that time was like I'm very goal oriented.
Yeah.
And I also learned how unhealthy it is because you have to keep scheduling races. You have to keep doing these things. And I found myself being at the same unhealthy eating patterns my lifestyle was following. If I had a goal, if I had a race, I was working out great. If I didn't have a goal, if I didn't have a race, I was not working out great. I was not eating healthy. I was not sleeping well. So that gave me a huge kind of like wake up sign. But along the way, there's been a few things lately that has been huge for me. Like there has been monumental people professionally. Again, I'll acknowledge Crystal. She's somebody who really helped me assimilate into PCS.
Yeah.
I believe in my interview I said I need to get my hours and go. And I was at that point because my job before that was a lot. And she was like, "Hey, you can't do that." in much more.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you for telling Corey that he could not just get his hours and go, because if he had just got his hours and gone, I wouldn't have him in my village. So thank you.
And I learned a lot. And she said it in a much more professional, welcoming way that was like, "Hey, there's a lot of good support here." So I was able to identify healthy support. Through Crystal, through Carl, obviously me, and there was not a lot of Black people in PCS. I don't know if it's changed, but at the time there was not a lot.
No, it was not.
And I was in the Gettysburg office, so I was gearing up to be in isolation. Um, but I was able to meet a lot of people, and I was able to find out what it looks like to be professional and healthy and find support. And that was a huge one for me. I knew how to support people. I knew how to have people around, but I didn't know how to like receive that support. Um, and joined the fraternity in the last few years. That has been huge in brotherhood. It's been huge in finding community in Harrisburg. 'Cause I'm not from Harrisburg. It's been huge in me needing to hold myself to a standard, and it's a standard that I knew that was there. But when no one knows, you can ebb and flow. You can hold that standard for the hours that you're at work, and then you can go home and you can let it go. But I really learned that like I'm representing something bigger than myself. So that's been huge for me the last few years. And ironically, like the fraternity's been great. The friendship is really what's been the big thing. There's a
Right.
lot of people in Harrisburg who I became friends with, and I'm like, man, like this is what I didn't have. I move a lot, um, and my fiance, I got engaged recently.
Shout out.
She similar to how we were talking about kindness. She is a soft person. Um,
Go there.
she It's hard to put it into words, but she is someone who she allows people to be themselves,
Hmm.
but in a way that is authentic and healthy. And I think prior to meeting her, those things didn't go together.
Huh.
You can either be healthy or authentic. It was never two. Um, and I remember meeting her, and we just talked a lot. Like we just talked about stuff. And as we went on, I was able to talk to her in ways that I wasn't able to talk to anybody.
Right.
In ways that I didn't expect to be able to talk to anybody.
Mm.
And that has been the part, excuse me, that has opened me up to friends and the relationships that I have, and accessing more vulnerable parts of myself to where I can make connection with people. So I truly think there was a part of me that was, for all intents and purposes, like at best dormant, realistically probably dead.
Hmm.
And she was able to revive a lot of that, but also there is purpose that comes with it. There's responsibility. She is smart. She's independent. I can learn a lot from her, but naturally it challenges my pride. I always tell myself I want to be with someone that's independent, and then you get it and you're just like, yeah, I asked for this. And mostly it's because, like, without saying it enforcing it, she requires people to be their best selves. Similar to what we talked about with Carl, but me and Carl aren't getting married. But she does. She encourages anybody she meets to just kind of access that part of them that has laid dormant. And I will always be grateful for her for that. And my dog gives me a lot of purpose. I've gotten my dog before I got in my relationship. And I would say my mental health was at the lowest.
Mm.
And at minimum, my dog gave me a reason to like get up.
Mm.
I have to go walk her. I have to go take care of her. She is a very protective dog in a sweet way because she's small. She's not too small.
She's not a toy.
Yeah,
she's not a toy. It's a real dog.
She's a medium-sized dog.
She's a real dog. Although I will say God made wolves and humans made toy dogs. So like,
Right.
just understand the step down that is.
Yeah, she has a heartbeat. But it was at a time where I think my life was really, I was going through a huge transition going into private practice. And when it was left up to me, I was cutting hair, starting to get clients. When it was left up to me, I was just up for what I needed to be up for. And when I wasn't doing those things, I was down. So like having her there, she has so much energy, and I'm like, all right, let's go outside, let's play. She is paying attention to my moods, and I realized when she had to temper her moods for me as well. So it really got me to a place of like really trying to align myself. So when my wellness journey is truly always ongoing, because it's constantly trying to align, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and I'm bringing all those things in that I've been able to develop to be able to actually say I want this healthy alignment, as opposed to like I want the fun parts of the healthy, but I don't want the rest of it. So journey is ever going, but that is there in counseling. My therapist has been great, and supported me through a lot of transitions, big and small.
That's amazing, man. That is amazing. And also, man, thank you for sharing. I knew some of the story. We done had a couple times. Corey, he has come down to where I've been. So like when I was living in Maryland, and I was there from 2018 to about 2021. Outside of COVID, came down. Probably the first person of the three of you all to meet my youngest daughter in person. We were over at Sip and Bite. I think that was the name of the diner. Man, they had some good food too. Good food. And yeah, he came on down to just outside. Well, we were actually in Baltimore for that, and just chatting it up. And I got to watch your relationship with your now soon to be wife develop. And I was telling Carl when we were downstairs, I was like, yeah, as soon as I started hearing about her, I knew. I was like, oh, he found his one, because the conversation that you just had with us about her, you didn't know it, but you were sharing that through the post that you would put up, through when you would talk about her. And I hope that the two of you, as you get ready for the big day, you actually go back and look at how you documented getting to this point. Because you guys, I mean, obviously don't follow her, but I follow you. And like, you have been making it clear, like these landmarks, these milestones, you guys were hitting them. And the joy is so clear and so obvious. So hey, I'm thankful that you were willing to go there with us, because not everybody does. I never know where people are going to go when I ask them about their wellness journey. But time and again, maybe it's because I know most of the people that I've interviewed, but in some cases, I've been sitting with folks for the first time, and they'll just go there. And I think there's something freeing about being able to go there, because we do work hard on ourselves. We do have obstacles that we have to overcome. We have challenges that come up in our lives. And I don't think anybody that I know who is authentic pretends they don't.
Yeah.
I don't think you get a chance to.
Yeah.
So I thank you for sharing that. And Jonathan, of course, there's no pressure on you to make anybody get a little weepy.
First.
No misty eyes needed. But yes, whatever you feel comfortable sharing, man.
Dude, yeah. I feel like, as I've been reflecting on just the idea of like what my journey has been, especially like as you get older, right? Like felt like whenever I was like just starting college and everything like that, just starting out here at PCS, it's like, okay, like how did like my childhood like impact stuff? And now like, since I'm like just entering this 30 realm, it's like, okay, like,
oh, you youngsters, you.
I know, yeah, young guy of the bunch.
Just getting into the 30s. Oh man, that was a decade ago. Over here.
Oh man, but like it's become much more like, who am I as an adult, right? And I think whenever what was part of me hitting that realm was like me working on my relationship with God. And I realized like my relationship with God was more so about, man, like he's just always angry at me, upset with me, expects perfection, all this stuff. And then it took a lot of conversations with other dudes, took a lot of like just reading a lot of like just prayer and stuff like that, right? Like went through a week-long program called Breakthrough, and it's like 10 years of therapy, like five days, right?
Those retreats, man, they go hard.
Dude, yeah, hardcore. But it was like that changed to like, man, like there is grace. Like, man, like because I viewed God in that way, like I was so freaking hard on myself.
Right.
Expected perfection. And just like as I went through that, I was like, man, like how is that impacting the people I have relationships with? How is that just impacting, like just going back to like how I treat myself in so many ways? And it was, man, like I have such a high standard that like I don't even know if Jesus himself could reach it. Right? So like
our Lord and Savior couldn't get there.
He can't even get there. So that was like a huge part for me. And then I think grace was kind of one of those things that stuck around, especially then like throughout that stretch, like getting married in 2020. And then now having 2 boys and expecting a 3rd boy, right? It was very much this thing of like, and has been very much this thing is like, what does it mean to like, I don't know, just like let them know that one, like they can experience grace just from a human to human connection, right? But then also too, like, what does it mean to be a guy as well? And I think like I was so much stuck within this realm of like cognitive Jonathan, and still get very much stuck in the realm of cognitive Jonathan, but like working through it of there's feelings out there.
Right.
Like I can actually live like from my heart a bit more, which then like how do you teach young boys that? And it's like, well, they already know that part of it. It's just me like being humble, connecting with those aspects of who I am. But then also too, like whenever I think about that within the therapy realm, it was like I always joke like I'm a CBT therapist in recovery because like I don't know, it's just like it doesn't help me, it doesn't do it for me anymore. So just even like professionally, like that switch there of like if I wouldn't have gone on that journey of first going into that realm of my relationship with God, relationship with me, I would have been a CBT therapist, and I would have been a pretty good CBT therapist. But there's a lot more, which then I think freed me up to ask more questions about my life. So recently, my family has made a big switch with like changing from one church to another church.
That's always a massive switch.
Dude, massive switch, because then it's like, how do I make friends as an adult, right? And like as you're talking about that fraternity, I'm like, man, yeah, making friends as an adult, like there's no guidebook for this, right? But like I needed to go through all that stuff first in order to be humble enough, but then also be prepared like emotionally and just like connect with my family enough through that realm. So I think like whenever I think about just like what my wellness journey has been, it's been like, how do you make friends, right? It's just that piece of like, what's grace? And then how do you engage with young boys that like really push the envelope with so many things? Like they're not nice, organized little people.
Now, Jonathan's being a bit harsh here. I only spent one afternoon with his son, so I know that I can speak on their behalf and say this is a bit much. Now, I got to meet your oldest, and it was a great moment that I will never forget.
Yeah, he's great.
He woke up from his nap. He made his way down the stairs. I'm sitting there with Indigo, my youngest, and Jonathan says to him, "Hey, you gonna say hi?" And he said, "No."
No.
He didn't say it with any malice in his heart. He did not say it with an angry face. He has learned emotional expression quite well from his father, and he was very comfortable and confident that I am in my own home. I am a free man. I am walking down the stairs, and I will not greet anybody. So, of course, I encourage him to go, hey, you want to say hi? And she says hi, and I say hi as well. And he said, I'm not saying hi. He did not budge. but he held his ground with respect.
Yeah.
There was no disrespect in his tone, in his voice at all. His little brother shortly descends the stairs with glee in his heart. He is fully awake. He is risen from his nap like Jesus from the dead. He is ready to go. And he is saying hi to everybody. He's trying to play with the toys. He is just completely engaged. So you got two very interesting fellows on your hand, and you got a third on the way.
Yep.
And I had to ask you and your wife, like, y'all done now, right? No, you're done populating the world for a moment here now.
For sure.
Oh, yes, we're done with that. Done with that, because, hey, once you get past the amount of children being equal to the amount of people who produce the children, you enter interesting territory.
Yep.
I'm not going there. I'm glad I got two, my oldest and my only. That's it. But I say that to say, dude, seeing you grow as a man, because when I met you, and we started to actually talk after the month of me saying, like, don't even try it, not even doing this. Dude, there's so much to you that's been like coming to the light. And I think Carl and I, we would talk about this. We would talk about we saw it in there. We saw the courage. We saw the know-how. We saw the connectedness. Hell, you and I were working in the Columbia Clinic.
Yep.
You built that clinic. I didn't build it. I set a standard for excellence in terms of how we were going to provide service there. And I'll take credit for that. I definitely set that standard because I was not happy with substandard treatment to our clients. I was not allowing our clients to mistreat our support staff. Like, there was mutual respect across the board. Anybody who walked in that building got that understanding. But you literally built the team. You brought in every other clinician that was there from basically 2018 on, once you walked in. And I'm so glad that you did that, because you didn't just bring folks in, you brought in people of character, similar to your own. So it's been easy to just sit back and watch you just sprout up into this amazing, sturdy force everywhere you go. And the fact that you changed churches, that's even more of a sign to me that you continue to be able to flourish, because in the past, that wasn't something you would even consider.
Nope.
So you're rocking it, man. And gentlemen, I'm cognizant of time because we only got Carl for a little bit longer. So I'm going to shortcut this. You guys have been amazingly, awesomely open and vulnerable. And given that it's Men's Mental Health Month, and I've been doing this series so that we could have men talking about their own journeys and talking about the work that they do, I'm only going to ask one more question before I figure out how everybody's going to keep up with y'all. If you had one thing that you wanted to kind of pass forward, because again, we can't pay it back, we can only pay it forward, to little boys, young men, men entering the middle part of life, men entering later parts of life. What, if anything, from your experiences as a man, also providing services to men, what would you want them to know? What would you want them to be aware of or mindful about? And you get to start us off.
Great. I would say it's like find your tribe of people and not be afraid to like make those changes to a tribe that is really going to lift you up and challenge you to become better, right? Like, it's a scary thing. And I think sometimes as like guys, we don't want to admit that. We don't want to sit with that. But it's like, man, you got to lean into the fear, face it, and go into it with courage, and then say, okay, like, who are the people? Who are the people that I can walk shoulder to shoulder, arm to arm with? Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Corey, going on now.
I would say do the things that you love. More importantly, do the things that you like. You know, I think we spend so much time trying to find our passion and stuff that we kind of forget, like, there's frivolous things that we enjoy. And especially as men, I think there are things that we enjoy that we don't get to really embrace completely. You know, find your interests, find your people. I think that one is huge. But really doing the things you like, and it all is on a journey of vulnerability. Connect with people when you have the opportunity, whether it's for a short time or a long time, whether it's a brief interaction. I think a lot of those things, they make life make sense. You know, you don't have to follow the line that you were supposed to follow, but follow the one that you're on.
Love it, love it, love it. And before you go, Carl, because I know you got to get to your next session. I just want you to say, look at these guys. I just wanted to say to you, look at these guys. It's 3 of us. It's only 3 of us. The numbers are countless.
Yeah.
And they're going to keep growing because you got to stick around, man.
Oh, I'm going to stick around.
You got to stick around. Like no more hitting deer on the road. That's
having
out.
Aortic
Yeah.
dissection.
Let's just cut that out.
Well, I'm back up to 10 push-ups from 30.
Hey, there we go.
In terms of your question, what they said, number one, because it was brilliant, it was good. But also for me, having a set of values that really are the compass for my decision making. I think people struggle. I struggle when I don't have clearly defined values that I'm living by. And I think that shows us the way. So that's, I think, a big deal for me. And also taking the chance to love another human being, even though you may not get that return that you might expect, but loving people anyway. So that's my stuff.
Well, now I have both mics. And I want to thank you, Carl, for spending some time with me today, spending some time with us today, and sharing what you shared. I want to thank you for continuing to be my mentor and also doing what you need to do so you can be here. Because, like I said, I kind of need you around. But if people want to keep up with you, Carl, do you have any social media for them to follow you on?
I could be reached with the Live Up Counseling website for Pennsylvania Counseling Services. You can find me there.
All right. And Carl, do you have LinkedIn?
No.
Of course, Carl doesn't have LinkedIn because, as he said, he was born in the 60s.
I am social media free, although I'm on YouTube way too much.
So, Corey, if people want to keep up with you, how do they do it?
I have a healthy boundary with my social media, so it depends on how and why you find me. If it's professionally, not on social media. But professionally, I have a private practice, Belief in Me Counseling. It's in Harrisburg. I'm licensed in PA, so I can do virtual, telehealth, or in person. I am on LinkedIn. That one you can find me.
Link in the description.
Just my name, Corey Burton. Yeah, I think those are the ways.
Okay. And Jonathan, if somebody wants to keep up with you.
Yeah, LinkedIn, I think, is probably the best thing professionally. Jonathan Reese on there. And then if you like what you hear and you want to work with me, PA Counseling is always hiring, and you can reach out that way as well. Say that you saw me, that you know me. So, yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I thank you all for engaging in this because, again, this was pretty much, I came up here. I was like, all right, we got a decent amount of light. We got some space. You know what? I'm going to do all of us at the same time. We're not going one by one. No, I want everybody together because there's a lot of love between us. There are a lot of stories between us, a lot of connection between us. And I want to be able to share that. And I thank you guys for being open to sharing that. Also being thankful that you guys collected around me coming up here today. We've been talking about this for over a month. And we got our schedules coordinated, which is very difficult when you have multiple people who provide services every day of the week because you guys are just working. And then, this guy's got 2 kids and 1 on the way. And then there's me. I'm always doing something. But the fact that you all made time for me and shared what you shared, I really appreciate it. For those of you who are watching, I hope that what you can see here is when I talk about the village that I have and I talk about the people in my field, they are real people. 1, I'm not just making them up. And 2, they're not these kind of perfect, got everything together all the time kind of folks. I wouldn't be able to connect with that because that's not the kind of person that I am. And that's not the kind of person that you need to be. And if you feel like you have that pressure on you that you need to be that, I'm letting you know right now, that pressure is going to crush you before it makes you a diamond. So maybe, just maybe, one of the things to take away, because this is the last group interview, first one of its kind, but last interview I'm doing for the month of June, Men's Mental Health Month. It'll be released on the last day of the month. So you'll get to see this at the very tail end of June. And when you see it, like, I hope you think about all the interviews that came before it, whether it was for Women's Mental Health Month back in May, or just the other guys that were talked to throughout June. But none of the people that I've sat with have professed that they have it all together, that they're perfectly healed or anything like that, because it doesn't take that in order to be well. Wellness is not about everything being all right. It's about being all right even when everything else is not. So if you haven't already, click like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can know when the next one's going to come. Although I won't have nearly as many people with me next time. I don't know. You guys seem to like the interviews quite a bit. We got one episode closed in on 1,000 views, which is crazy. We've had our subscribers burst from, what was it, 20 something up to 53. Then it went up to 220 plus in one night, holding steady at 227. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. But yes, be well.